He helped a poor man. 10 minutes later, something incredible happened. A small decision changed his life in an unexpected way. Watch until the end for a valuable lesson, and let us know where you're watching from. The sky was heavy with gray clouds, and the air was biting cold. Ethan walked along the damp sidewalk, his worn-out shoes squeaking against the pavement. The city was bustling, but he felt completely alone. The job interview earlier had been a nightmare. The interviewer barely reacted, just nodding and scribbling notes before ending with the same words Ethan had heard too many times: "We'll be in touch." It had been months of searching, and the answer was always the same: rejection. He had lost count of how many times his hopes had been crushed. Every time he tried to convince himself that the next opportunity would be different, the world seemed to respond with silence. He reached into his pocket, just a few crumpled bills left. Enough for a simple meal, but after that? He had no idea. No backup plan. No way forward. Lost in thought, his eyes landed on a figure sitting against a closed storefront. An old man, shivering, his clothes ragged, hands clutching his stomach in hunger. His eyes were empty, like someone who had lost all hope. Ethan slowed his steps. The first raindrops began to fall. He could just walk past, like everyone else. Ignore it. Pretend it wasn't his problem. That would be easier. But his feet refused to move forward. People rushed by, too busy with their own lives to notice. No one stopped. No one cared. Ethan squeezed the last bit of money in his pocket. If he gave it away, he might go hungry tomorrow. But if he didn't, could he live with the guilt? He looked at the old man again, his pale face, trembling body. Ethan saw himself in him. Trapped. Helpless. Desperate. With a deep breath, Ethan stepped into a nearby food stall, bought some bread and hot coffee, then walked back. The old man was still there, unmoving, as if waiting for the end. Ethan knelt beside him and handed him the food along with a small bill. "Here, sir. Eat this." The man looked up, eyes welling with tears. He stared at Ethan as if he couldn't believe someone had actually stopped for him. His hands trembled as he took the food, his lips moving, trying to say something, but no words came out. Ethan just smiled and walked away. His own situation hadn't changed. He was still jobless, still uncertain about tomorrow. But somehow, his heart felt lighter. At least, for one night, someone wouldn't have to sleep on an empty stomach. Sitting alone on a park bench, Ethan let out a long sigh. The wind was sharp against his skin, reminding him how fragile his situation was. Tomorrow, he might have to skip meals. And as for a job? He had almost given up hope. Then his phone buzzed. He frowned at the screen. It was the company from earlier. His heart pounded. Another rejection? Hands shaking, he answered. "Hello?" His voice came out more nervous than he intended. A serious voice responded. Ethan braced himself for the words he knew too well. "We regret to inform you." But those words never came. Instead, the voice said, "Congratulations, Ethan. We've decided to hire you." Ethan froze. His eyes widened, struggling to process what he had just heard. Wait. I got the job?" The person on the line chuckled. "Yes. Actually, I wanted to tell you sooner. But first, I needed to confirm something." Ethan frowned. "Confirm what?" "This afternoon, I happened to witness something incredible. A young man, clearly struggling himself, but still willing to help someone in need. That man was you." The world seemed to pause. Ethan's mind flashed back to the old man. Someone had seen him? "We need more than just smart employees," the voice continued. "We need people with integrity. What you did today showed us you're exactly the kind of person we want on our team." Ethan closed his eyes, his chest tightening, not with anxiety, but with overwhelming relief. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. Just be here tomorrow morning to sign the contract. And Ethan, never stop being who you are." The call ended, but Ethan could still feel the impact in his chest. He looked up at the sky, now clearing after the rain. It was as if the universe itself was signaling a new beginning. He had given something small, expecting nothing in return. But life had its own way of repaying kindness, in the most unexpected ways. Moral of the story. Kindness always finds its way back to us, often when we need it most. It may not be immediate, and it may not come in the form we expect. But one thing is certain, no act of kindness is ever wasted. In a world that often chooses indifference, be someone who chooses to care.